From the earliest moments of your life, there were subtle yet undeniable signs that you were set apart. Maybe, unlike other children who easily blended into groups, you often found comfort in solitude, not out of shyness or timidity, but because there was something within you that longed for deeper meaning. While others joyfully played, you became the quiet observer, carefully watching the world unfold with a keen attention to details others seemed to miss. Have you ever wondered why you noticed the things no one else did? Could it be that God was already stirring a unique purpose within you, even at a young age? In the Bible, we see examples of how God often chooses those who seem different from the crowd to fulfill a greater calling. Take David, for instance. While his brothers were occupied with grand duties, he was in the fields tending sheep. Yet it was David who was chosen to become king. 1 Samuel 16, 7-13. Could it be that your ability to see beyond the surface, even from a young age, is a sign that you are called for something more? As you reflect on these early experiences, ask yourself, what is it that God has been trying to reveal to you through your unique perspective? Perhaps this deep awareness of your surroundings was never an accident, but part of a divine plan to prepare you for a higher purpose. Stay with us as we explore how these early traits may align with a much larger calling for your life. God's chosen ones. This is childhood. Signs that confirm you are a chosen one. Do you remember those days when you were simply fascinated by the movement of clouds in the sky, the shadows of trees swaying in the wind, or the soft sound of running water? These moments were not just part of common childhood curiosity. They reflected a greater sensitivity. It was as if you were connected to the rhythm of nature in a different way, feeling the energy of the world on a deeper level. This connection with nature was one of the first signs that you were attuned to something greater, something that went beyond the immediate perception of others. Perhaps from an early age, you also noticed that you felt emotionally more connected to the people around you. It could have been a friend who was sad, or a family member worried about something, and you, even without fully understanding, knew that something was wrong. This level of empathy was uncommon among children your age. While others moved on, unconcerned with the feelings of those around them, you felt the weight of other people's emotions as if they were your own. This type of emotional sensitivity is one of the first signs that your soul was connected to a greater mission, one that involved not only your own growth, but also the ability to help and heal others. In childhood, many chosen ones remember moments of deep intuition, even if they did not know how to name it at the time. It could have been that feeling that something was about to happen, a change in the environment, or a decision that needed to be made, and you, without knowing exactly why, knew what to do. These moments of clarity came like flashes, and you probably thought everyone experienced the same thing. However, these instincts, this ability to sense what was coming, were clear signs that there was something special about you. Another important sign that many chosen ones report from childhood is the feeling of being protected in risky situations. Perhaps you narrowly escaped imminent dangers like accidents, or felt an inexplicable urge to avoid a path that you later found out would have been dangerous. These moments, which could easily be attributed to luck, were actually evidence that you were being protected from an early age. It could have been a day when, for some reason, you decided not to leave the house and then heard that something bad happened at the place where you were going. These instincts were not coincidences, but manifestations that your life was being carefully guided and protected. Often, the chosen ones feel disconnected from others, even from childhood. Perhaps you felt like you didn't quite belong to your group of friends, or that your concerns were different from those of other children. While they were worried about games and play, you might have found yourself thinking about deeper things, such as the purpose of life or the meaning of certain events. This kind of early reflection is another clear sign that you were already connected to something greater from childhood. Perhaps you also remember moments when animals seemed to behave differently around you. Many chosen ones report that as children, they had a special connection with animals. Perhaps dogs always became calmer by your side, or birds seemed to approach you more than other people. These moments, though small and seemingly insignificant at the time, were signs that there was something in your energy that the beings around you sensed. They felt your presence and knew there was peace and harmony in you that attracted them. As you grew, these signs continued to manifest even more clearly. In adolescence, for example, you may have begun to notice that your intuitions were becoming stronger. Perhaps you knew what someone was thinking or feeling before they even spoke. Or maybe you had a sense that something important was about to happen, even without any concrete evidence. These intuitions, which were more subtle in childhood, were now becoming part of your everyday life. You started to realize that there was a connection between what you felt and what was happening in the world around you. Another clear sign that many chosen ones experience during adolescence is the feeling of not fitting into conventional molds. It may be that while your friends were concerned with trivial things such as fashion or social events, you were more interested in discovering deeper truths. Perhaps you were drawn to spiritual, philosophical, or even mystical themes, searching for answers to questions that most people your age never considered. This search for meaning, for something beyond what the material world could offer, was a clear reflection that your soul was on a much deeper and more significant journey. This feeling of not belonging, of being out of sync with others, is not easy to handle, especially during adolescence. However, this disconnection is actually one of the clearest signs that you are being prepared for something unique. While others followed their routines, you were already searching for something greater. This search, though sometimes lonely, was your soul guiding you toward a path of spiritual awakening. In adolescence, many chosen ones also report a series of strange or unusual experiences, such as vivid dreams or even premonitions. Perhaps you remember dreaming of events that later came true, or having visions of situations before they happened. These dreams and visions were not mere teenage fantasies. They were clear signs that your consciousness was connected to higher dimensions, accessing information that most people could not see. Adolescence may also have brought the realization that the challenges you faced seemed greater or more intense than those of others. Perhaps you felt that emotional struggles, identity crises, or internal conflicts were deeper and more painful than what your friends were facing. These challenges were not punishments, but part of a growth process. They were shaping your soul, preparing it for the greater purpose you carried. This period of emotional turbulence is often part of the refinement process that the chosen ones go through. Although it is a difficult phase, it is also a time when you begin to gain clarity about who you really are and what really matters to you. The superficial values and concerns that once seemed important begin to lose their weight, giving way to a search for purpose and meaning. As you leave adolescence behind and enter adulthood, the signs that you are chosen begin to intensify in ways that can no longer be ignored. During youth, many of the emotional and spiritual challenges may have seemed insurmountable. But as you mature, you begin to realize that each of these struggles serve to shape you in a unique way. You start to connect the dots between your past experiences and the intuition that has always guided you, and everything begins to make more sense. One of the first signs that many chosen ones notice in adulthood is the clarity that emerges after moments of great turbulence. It may be that you went through a personal crisis, be it a breakup, the loss of a loved one, or even a great professional failure. And in the midst of the pain, something began to emerge within you. This crisis was not just an obstacle on the path, but an opportunity to awaken to a new reality. When the ground seemed to have been pulled out from under your feet, it was at that moment that you realized the strength you carried inside, a strength you perhaps didn't know existed before. Many chosen ones, when facing crises in adulthood, feel a deep calling to something higher. It may be that after going through this phase of great pain or confusion, you began to question even more deeply the meaning of life and your role in the world. The questions that arose in childhood and intensified in adolescence now become even more urgent. What once seemed like a search for superficial answers now turns into a genuine spiritual journey, and you realize that you're no longer searching for answers outside yourself, but that true wisdom lies within. This awakening in adulthood is often accompanied by a series of coincidences or synchronicities that become impossible to ignore. Perhaps you started to notice repeated patterns around you, numbers that frequently appeared, unexpected encounters with people who seemed to guide you to the next step, or even events that aligned almost magically. These synchronicities are clear signs that you are on the right path and that the universe is conspiring to take you exactly where you need to be. Another sign that many chosen ones experience in adulthood is the feeling of becoming increasingly disconnected from society's expectations. It may be that over the years you followed the conventional path, achieving a career, building relationships, and seeking material accomplishments. But at some point, something within you began to change. What once seemed important started to lose its shine, and a sense of dissatisfaction arose. It's not about ingratitude or failing to value your achievements, but about realizing that they are not enough to satisfy your soul. This disconnection from worldly values is a clear sign that you are being called to something much greater, something that cannot be found in material things. At this stage, many chosen ones begin to turn inward, seeking deeper answers. You may have felt an increasing desire to meditate, reflect, or spend more time in solitude, away from the noise and distractions of the world. This impulse is not an escape, but a call to reconnect with your essence. The more you listen to this inner voice, the more you realize it is guiding you toward a purpose that goes beyond appearances. It's as if you are being quietly prepared for something that is still to come. These moments of introspection are often accompanied by a strengthening of your intuition. It may be that during adulthood, you began to trust more in that inner voice that has always guided you. Perhaps you made important decisions based on a gut feeling, ignoring the logical advice of those around you, and surprisingly, those decisions turned out to be the most correct. This strengthening of intuition is one of the clearest signs that you are aligning with your true purpose. Another sign that becomes clearer in adulthood is the attraction to people and experiences that are in tune with your spiritual journey. As you move away from certain relationships or situations that no longer serve you, you begin to notice that new people come into your life, almost as if they were sent by an invisible force. These people bring with them a new perspective, help illuminate the path, and offer support in ways you didn't expect. These often spontaneous connections are a sign that you are being guided and supported by forces beyond what we can see. It may be that during this period you began to have even more vivid dreams or experienced an increase in synchronicities. Perhaps you've noticed that certain spiritual themes started appearing frequently in conversations, books, or even on social media, as if the universe was trying to send you a message. These moments are a reminder that you are on the right path, and that even in moments of doubt, there is a greater force guiding you. In addition, many chosen ones begin to feel an unshakable need to help others. This desire to serve does not come from a place of ego, but from a sense that you have been given gifts and abilities that can make a difference in people's lives. It may be that throughout your adult life, you felt drawn to careers or projects that involve healing, spiritual guidance, teaching, or any other form of service. This need to help others is a clear reflection that you are beginning to understand the purpose for which you were chosen. It is important to note that although many chosen ones face challenges throughout life, these challenges are never in vain. Every obstacle, every moment of pain or doubt serves to strengthen and prepare you for what is to come. Often it may seem that the weight of responsibility is too great, but remember that you are never alone on this journey. Even in the most difficult moments, there is an invisible force supporting, guiding, and protecting you. Many chosen ones, upon reaching this stage of adulthood, begin to realize that their journey is not just about themselves. Yes, personal growth and spiritual awakening are essential, but ultimately, the mission of a chosen one is to impact the world around them. Whether through small acts of kindness, words of wisdom, or acts of service, you are here to make a difference. And as you move forward on this path, you begin to see the impact of your actions on the lives of those around you. Another concrete sign that arises in adulthood is the feeling that your presence makes a difference in the environments you are in. Perhaps you've noticed that upon entering a room, the energy changes. People seem to feel calmer, more heard, or even inspired just by being around you. This is your inner light radiating, even if you're not aware of it. Your presence, your way of being, is part of what makes you a chosen one. You don't need to make grand gestures or declarations. Just being who you are already transforms the environment and impacts the lives of those around you. As you continue along this journey, you begin to understand that the signs that emerged in childhood and adolescence were actually preparing you for this moment. Every dream, every intuition, every feeling of protection in moments of danger was guiding you so that in adulthood you could fully embrace your purpose. Now, as you look back, you can see the bigger picture, the plan that was in action from the very beginning. As you continue to advance through adulthood, you begin to realize that each of the challenging experiences you have faced has, in some way, been an essential step in your transformation. One of the most evident signs that you are chosen is how challenges seem to shape your life more intensely than they do for others. Unlike those who live on autopilot, never stopping to deeply reflect on life, you have always been driven to look beyond the surface, to understand the reasons behind each experience, even those that, at first glance, seemed unfair or meaningless. This drive to seek meaning is what continues to guide you. From an early age, you felt that there was something more, something bigger at play. In childhood and adolescence, you may have felt this restlessness, but it was in adulthood that this calling really began to take shape. The obstacles that have arisen throughout your journey, whether emotional, professional, or spiritual, serve to shape you, not to break you. You began to realize that the more challenging the situation, the greater the opportunity for growth. One of the most concrete signs that you were chosen is how, after each crisis, you emerged with more clarity, strength, and wisdom. Often, people around you may have looked at you with admiration, not understanding how you managed to overcome certain situations that for others could have been devastating. What they don't see is the internal process you went through, the process of resilience, of deeply questioning yourself, and of seeking answers within yourself, something that most people are not willing to do. Another clear evidence that you were chosen is how time seems to work in your favor. There may have been times when you felt like everything was falling apart, but somehow, at the last minute, a new opportunity arose, a solution appeared, or an unexpected path opened up. This is not just a matter of luck, but a reflection that you are being guided. Time, for the chosen ones, has a unique way of working. It does not obey external pressures or expectations. Instead, it seems as though the universe organizes the events in your life according to what is best for your spiritual growth. Many chosen ones report that throughout adulthood, they began to notice clear signs of divine protection in times of great need. It could have been an experience where you were about to make a decision that would have had disastrous consequences, but for some reason, something stopped you, or perhaps it was an accident avoided by a fraction of a second. These moments, which could easily be attributed to chance, are actually concrete signs that you are being guided and protected by invisible forces. Additionally, there is the matter of intuitions that have become almost impossible to ignore. Over the years, you must have noticed that your intuitive perceptions have become stronger and clearer. Perhaps you began to trust these intuitions to make important decisions, even when those choices went against the advice of others or against logic. Surprisingly, these intuitions turned out to be correct. This is one of the greatest gifts of the chosen ones, the ability to sense the right path even when everything around you seems uncertain. This intuition is not a mental trick. It is the result of a deep connection with something greater, a wisdom that transcends common reasoning. Another clear sign that you were chosen is your ability to transform the environment around you, often without even realizing it. You have the power to change the energy of a place simply with your presence. It may be that when you enter a space filled with tension or anxiety, the people around you begin to feel calmer and more centered, without you needing to say a word. This is a reflection of the light you carry inside. Your energy, even when silent, has the power to influence others in subtle but powerful ways. In addition, many chosen ones report that over time, their choices begin to have a deeper impact on the people around them. It may be that throughout adulthood, you began to notice that people come to you for guidance, advice, or simply to hear your encouraging words. Perhaps you've realized that your words carry more weight than you imagined, as if they are imbued with wisdom that goes beyond your own life experience. This is one of the clearest ways to recognize a chosen one, the ability to touch people's lives in ways you don't always realize. Many chosen ones also experience a sense of being called to serve in a greater way. This can manifest as a deep desire to help others, whether through a specific job, volunteering, or simply being present for those in need. This desire to serve is not motivated by vanity or the need for recognition, but by an inner sense that this is your mission. And the more you align with this desire, the more doors open for you to fulfill this calling. As you move forward, the journey of a chosen one can also be marked by an increase in spiritual sensitivity. You may have begun to notice that your connection with the spiritual realm has become stronger. This can manifest in various ways, through sharper intuition, vivid dreams that bring clear messages, or even more intense spiritual experiences, such as feeling the presence of something divine around you. This sensitivity is not a burden, but a gift that allows you to navigate the world more consciously, more connected. Often, the chosen ones are also those who face the greatest trials. It may seem unfair, but these trials are actually preparation for something greater. The greater the mission, the heavier the responsibility, and the difficulties you have faced throughout life were tools to strengthen you. Think of every loss, every failure, every moment of doubt. All of these events, as painful as they may have been, serve to shape your soul, to prepare you for the mission you carry. And although the weight of these trials has been great, they have also provided you with a depth of character and resilience that is now visible to everyone around you. As you continue your journey, it is common for the chosen ones to feel a sense of isolation, even when surrounded by people. This is not a sign that you are wrong or going in the wrong direction. In fact, this sense of loneliness is often a reflection of the fact that you are walking a unique path. While others may be more concerned with mundane issues, you are focused on a deeper spiritual journey, and this can distance you from common concerns. However, it is important to remember that this isolation does not last forever. Over time, you begin to attract others who are on the same journey as you. These people may appear in unexpected ways. Perhaps a new friend, a colleague, or even someone you meet by chance. These encounters are not coincidences. They are part of the greater plan. The universe always finds ways to bring close to you those who can support you and help you grow. As you move forward on this journey, the signs become increasingly clear. You begin to realize that the experiences that once seemed painful or confusing were actually preparing you for something greater. With each step, you come closer to your true purpose. And the more you align with that purpose, the more you realize that you are exactly where you should be. As you continue to walk this path as a chosen one, you begin to understand that the journey is not about reaching a final destination, but about constant growth and evolution. One of the most powerful signs that you are a chosen one is the way you handle this evolution, with openness, acceptance, and the understanding that every step of the journey, no matter how challenging, is part of the plan. It is not about reaching a point where everything is resolved, but about understanding that your mission is in constant development, and this is something that will continue until the end of your life. Now that you have spiritually matured, you have begun to realize that the signs that emerged in childhood and adolescence were not isolated. Every intuition, every premonition, every synchronicity was a piece of a much larger puzzle. You were shaped for this moment, prepared from an early age to take on a role of spiritual leadership and influence, even if at the time you didn't understand what it all meant. Many chosen ones, upon reaching spiritual maturity, begin to experience a new form of connection with the world. You may have noticed that your presence has a much greater impact than before. Even without speaking or acting explicitly, the people around you begin to feel your energy. They are drawn to your light, to your wisdom, and they seek guidance, comfort, or simply a word of encouragement from you. This kind of influence is not something you actively seek, but it is a natural consequence of your alignment with the divine purpose. As you advance on this journey, one of the strongest signs that you were chosen is the clarity you begin to have about your purpose. Perhaps in the beginning it was difficult to identify exactly what your role was, but now the pieces begin to fall into place. You understand that your mission is not necessarily about grand gestures or extraordinary feats in the eyes of the world, but about the way you touch the lives of those around you, whether through words, actions, or simply your presence. This clarity also brings a sense of peace, something you may have never experienced before with such depth. Throughout your life, there have been moments of doubt, inner struggle, and deep questioning, but now you find yourself accepting that each of these phases was essential for your growth. The peace that emerges is not the absence of challenges, but the understanding that no matter what happens, you are on the right path, protected and guided. Another sign that many chosen ones begin to notice at this stage is the strengthening of their connection with the divine. Perhaps you have experienced moments when the presence of God, or the higher power in which you believe, became almost tangible. It could have been in moments of prayer, meditation, or even in everyday situations when you felt a greater force guiding, protecting, and showing you the way. These moments are not coincidences. They are clear signs that your mission is aligned with a higher spiritual purpose. Finally, one of the most powerful signs that you are a chosen one is the way you begin to see the world and the people around you. You understand that everyone is on their own journey, that each person has their own challenges and lessons to learn, and with this comes a deep compassion. You no longer feel the need to judge or criticize, but instead you offer love and understanding. This is the true power of a chosen one, the ability to see beyond appearances, to understand the journey of the soul, and to offer support, even if silently, to all those who cross your path. Now, as you reflect on everything you've been through, From those early signs of intuition and sensitivity in your childhood to the challenges and spiritual growth of adulthood, you see that it was all part of a greater plan. Every moment of pain, every hardship, and every victory has led you to this very point. You are now ready to fully step into your mission as a chosen one. But remember, being chosen is not about privilege, it is a divine responsibility. You're called to bring light to the world, to be a beacon for those who are lost, and to serve with humility and love. Your journey has not been easy, but every step has prepared you for this moment. The world needs your light, your wisdom, and your presence now more than ever. The path ahead will continue to challenge you, but now you walk with a confidence and clarity that can only come from knowing your divine purpose. Each step forward is a testament to the calling that has been placed on your life. If you feel this message resonating with your soul, and if you believe you are walking in your purpose, comment Amen below. And if you are ready to fully embrace this mission, type 77 as a sign of your commitment to walk in the light and fulfill your calling. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Your light and faith inspire more than you may ever know.